Last October, a Senegalese fashion designer I know sold capes that didn't even exist. No fabric had been cut, no samples had been sewn. She generated an image with AI, posted it to her Instagram, and asked her followers if they'd buy it. 82% of them said yes, and her supplier didn't make a single cape until customers had already paid for it. She inverted the cash flow model of an entire industry in a single week. I'm Jeremy Utley, and I teach AI and creativity at Stanford Online and Harvard's Division of Continuing Studies. I've spent 20 years studying creativity, and I spent the last 2 years figuring out why some people are pulling off stuff like this while everybody else is sitting in webinars taking notes. The difference isn't talent, it isn't access, it isn't even technical skill. It's one simple mindset shift, and most people don't know they're stuck on the wrong side of it. In the next few minutes, I'm gonna show you what the shift is, why almost everyone misses it, and then give you a 30-second exercise from a Stanford colleague of mine that makes it click. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which side of this you're on and how to switch. Also, if you want a free 5-day bootcamp on AI to get started, I've got one. The link's in the description below. Here's what nobody's telling you clearly enough. AI is not gonna replace you. That's not the threat. Brad Anderson, who read technology leadership at both Microsoft and Qualtrics, said this about as plainly as anybody can.
AI is not going to largely replace humans. There'll be some functions that it absolutely will. But one thing I can tell you is the humans and the organizations using AI are going to replace the humans and the organizations not using AI. It's that black and white.
Read that again, because this is the entire game. The threat isn't a robot. The threat is the person 2 cubicles over who decided 6 months ago that this was happening for them and started building. While you were waiting for the company-wide rollout, while you were waiting for the perfect course, while you were waiting for the time or the permission, or really being told what to do. The deeper problem, and the one I want you to actually take seriously, is that the waiting itself is a choice, even when it doesn't feel like one. Most people who are getting left behind right now aren't getting left behind because they're not smart or not talented or not technical or not whatever. They're getting left behind because of 2 words they don't even notice they're saying. The first one is have to, as in I have to deal with this AI stuff. I have to learn this for work. I have to figure out which tool to use. The second word is can't. As in, I can't keep up. I can't compete with people half my age. I can't afford the time to mess around with this. My longtime teaching partner at Stanford, Bernie Roth, a legendary professor, longtime director of the D School, calls these victim words, prisoner words, powerless words, low agency words. They position you as someone things happen to. And here's the part that matters. Your brain doesn't separate the words you say from the way you experience your life. The language is the experience. If you keep telling yourself AI is something that you have to deal with, then that's exactly what it's gonna be. A burden, a threat, a thing that's coming for you, the powerless victim. So Bernie has an exercise that fixes this. I'm gonna walk you through it because it takes 30 seconds and it's changed the lives of generations of Stanford students before AI, and it will change your life after AI now. Here's what I want you to do. Take any sentence in your life right now that starts with I have to. Doesn't matter what it is. I have to learn AI. I have to finish this project. I have to figure out my career. Now, I want you to change one word. Replace have to with want to. I want to learn AI. I want to finish this project. I want to figure out my career. Now do the same with can't. Take a sentence that starts with I can't. I can't keep up. Instead of saying I can't, replace can't with won't. I won't keep up. I can't find the time becomes, importantly, I won't find the time. You feel that? That little squirm in your chest right now? That's the truth catching up to you. Because the truth is, you're not a victim of your circumstances. You're making choices. The language you're using has been hiding those choices from you. Words like want to and won't are different. They're powerful words. They're liberating words. They put you back in the driver's seat rather than being a passenger. Generations of Stanford alumni have walked off of campus with what Bernie calls an invigorated sense of being a cause in the matter rather than an effect. AI isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. So before we go any further, I want you to try this one sentence about AI in your own life. Just this one sentence. I want you to say it out loud right now and notice what happens. AI is happening to me, or AI is happening for me? Which is true? Say it out loud. AI is happening for me. Do you feel the difference? That little exercise is the doorway to the actual mindset shift that this whole video is about. This moment is happening for you, but only if you know it and approach it that way. There are two ways to experience the AI moment we're in. You can experience AI as something that's happening to you. It's threatening your job, it's devaluing your skills, it's making your years of experience obsolete. The moment you decide that, you stop experimenting. You stop learning. You stop discovering the places that AI could take you. You become a passenger in your own career. Or flip it, you can decide AI is happening for you. That there has literally never been a better time in your field, because the leverage available to you is unlike anything any generation before has ever had access to. That's not a personality difference, it's a choice. And it's the same choice Diara made when she opened her laptop in October and decided to do something nobody in her industry had ever done. The fashion calendar wasn't happening to her. Her excess inventory wasn't happening to her. She made it happen for her. The cape that didn't exist became her best seller. And she didn't stop there. She's now building a platform to bring that same model to other brands across the entire industry, poised to trigger a revolution. The technology she used is the same technology you have. The difference was a decision she made about which side of this shift she was on. If you're wondering whether this mindset is really a big deal, look at what it's cost the people who got it wrong. Go back the last 50 years. Kodak invented the digital camera in 1975. Their own engineers built it. They shelved it because they were afraid of what it would do to their film business. 30 years later, digital photography, the one they invented, destroyed that business anyway, and Kodak filed for bankruptcy. 25 years later, in 2000, Blockbuster had the chance to buy a fledgling little startup called Netflix. They had the chance to buy it outright for $50 million, and they passed. Netflix is now worth around $390 billion. The same thing happened to Swiss watchmakers. They're the ones who actually invented quartz technology, the battery-powered movements that kept better time than anything they were making by hand. They chose to protect their traditional model instead, and Japan picked up quartz. Japan now sells exponentially more watches than Switzerland. Every one of these decisions, Kodak, Blockbuster, the Swiss watchmakers, was a have-to decision. We have to protect what we built. We can't risk what we have. They were victim words at the scale of an entire company, and the cost was the company itself. Nicholas Thompson, the CEO of The Atlantic, has the cleanest line on this I've heard.
Look, there is a storm coming, right? And the storm is AI, and it's going to massively change the way people do journalism. And I can say, I don't like the storm, and I can go stand out there naked and I can yell at it, right? Or I can put on a raincoat, I can get an umbrella, and I can try to figure out the path of the storm and how best to protect what I do, right? And that's what we're trying to do.
Yelling at the storm doesn't make it stop. It just means you get wetter faster. So here's what I want you to do before you click off this video. Pick one have-to in your life, just one. Maybe it's about AI, maybe it's about something else entirely. It doesn't matter. Say the swap out loud. Don't say have to, say want to. If this new sentence doesn't feel true, if you say, I want to learn AI, and it feels like a lie, that's actually the most useful information you'll get this week. Because now you know the work isn't to find more time or buy a better course or wait for the right moment. The work is actually to want it. And until you do, no amount of productivity content is going to change anything. But if it does feel true, even a little, then you've just done something most people never do. You've taken yourself out of the passenger seat and you've decided AI is happening for you, not to you. That's step one. That's the mindset shift. If you want to download a worksheet that will help facilitate this shift in language, you can download the PDF in the description below.